The rectangle command. Start the rectangle command by selecting the rectangle icon from the Draw toolbar, or by selecting the rectangle icon from the Draw panel of the ribbon, or by typing REC, which is its command alias, and pressing enter. At that point you'll be prompted to specify the first corner of the rectangle. What I'm going to type in as the first corner of my rectangle is absolute coordinate 3, 3. So I'm going to type 3, 3 and press enter. And what happens is I'm connected to point 3, 3, and as you can see as I move my mouse, my rectangle is rubber banding off of that point. Now at this point I can just move my mouse to where I want the corner of that rectangle to be. I can go in any direction that I want, above or below that point of the start point, or I could type an exact coordinate in, and that's what I'm going to do. And I want to point something out. I have dynamic input on my status toolbar, and with Dyne on, all I need to do is type a coordinate. So what I want to draw is a rectangle that's 6 units on the X and 2 units on the Y. So I'm going to type 6, 2 and press enter. And starting at point 3, 3, the opposite corner of the rectangle is placed 6 units on the X and 2 on the Y. Let's do that again. I'm going to undo. I'm going to pick on the rectangle command again right here. This time I'm going to type 2, 2 for my start point. So it's beginning at absolute coordinate 2, 2. And this time I'm going to define the size of that rectangle by typing 7, 3 and pressing enter. And so starting at 2, 2, it went over 7 and went up 3, and there's the rectangle that results. Now I'm going to delete this rectangle out and show you how I would have to do that if I did not have dynamic entry on. I'm going to uncheck dynamic entry down here. I'm going to select the rectangle, and again I'm going to type 3, 3 as my start point. And in the earlier when I drew that rectangle that was 6 by 2, I just typed 6, 2 at this point, but because dynamic entry is not on, I have to do an extra step. I have to type shift and the @ symbol, and then I can type 6, 2 and press enter. So when dynamic entry or input is not on, I have to indicate to AutoCAD that I'm entering a relative coordinate by putting an @ symbol in front of my coordinates. And for that reason is mainly why I like to work with dynamic on. I'm going to keep that one on right there. Now I want to show you something about the rectangle. When you select a rectangle, it selects all 4 sides because a rectangle is one entity. And because of that, they're difficult to edit because if you just want to do something to one side of it, it affects the entire entity. And let's give an example of that. I'll draw a circle. I'm going to pick the circle command, and I'm going to go to the midpoint right here, and I'm going to draw a 1-inch radius circle on that. And I can go in here and pick trim and enter and trim that out and trim this out right there and enter and get out of the command. So I was able to trim it, but I want to show you something about it. If I pick on it, even after it's trimmed, it behaves like it's one entity. So if I were trying to do the offset command, I'm going to pick on offset. Let's set an offset distance of 0.5 and enter. And let's say I wanted to offset this edge a 1/2 inch to the side, and I pick over there, it offsets the entire, what was a full rectangle. So what I'm going to do is undo that. And in order to be able to offset any of these lines separately, I have to do something to this rectangle. I have to explode it. So here's the explode icon. I'm going to pick on explode. I'm going to pick up here and pick what was my rectangle, press enter. Now when I go do the offset command, and I'm going to go 0.5 from my offset distance, I'm going to pick this side and move to the side, and you can see now I can offset those things separately or individually.